Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pocomoke City Mayor and Council meeting. Today is Monday, September the 3rd, 2024. It is 6:30 p.m. Would you please stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Councilman Marshall, would you lead us in prayer tonight?
Heavenly Father, please provide us the wisdom and grace to work with the citizens of Pocomoke for the best interest of all involved. We hope tonight's meeting can be productive and we wish everybody a safe trip home. Amen.
Amen. It's so great to see all of you, and it's definitely great to see all of you. I feel like we all haven't been together in a long time, so tonight's going to be a productive night, and we're going to get the business of the city done. Moving forward to item number 2, approval of the minutes from the meeting on July 22nd, 2024. And approval of the minutes from the meeting on August the 19th, 2024. We're going to do 2 separate motions because these were 2 separate meeting minutes. So the first motion I will entertain, if there is one, is for the minutes from the July 22nd, 2024 meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from July 22nd, 2024 meeting.
I second the motion.
The motion has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye. Aye. I'm going to call for an individualized vote. Councilmember Cotton.
Aye.
Councilwoman Downing. Councilwoman Marsh.
Aye.
Thank you. Y'all messed me up right beside each other. Councilmember Marshall.
Aye.
And Councilmember Howland. So moved. Thank you. The reason why I did that is because it was denied at the last meeting. Moving forward to August the 19th, the meeting from August the 19th, 2024. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make an amendment to those minutes, please, if possible. In my comments, it noted that the arrests and drugs were found at the fair, and that was not correct. I believe they were the result of a traffic stop on Broad Street or somewhere in that vicinity, and I'd appreciate it. I'll approve the minutes with that change.
Okay. Is there a motion with the, Councilman Marshall made a motion with an amendment. Is there a second?
I second.
It has been properly motioned and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye. Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved. Thank you. The ayes have it. Moving forward to item number 3, review and approve of the current bill list for payment. I will entertain a motion.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I know, Ms. Martin's not here, but I noticed in reviewing that we use waste management. And I'm wondering to what extent we use waste management, for what reason, and I'd just like some clarity on that at some point. I can follow up with her individually on that.
Okay. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
Make a motion to approve.
I
Bill
second
list.
the motion.
The motion has been made and properly seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. The ayes have it. So moved. Thank you. Moving forward to item number 4. Ordinance number 2025-02, the cannabis moratorium extension.
Mr. Mayor, you have a resolution in front of you on paper this evening. The action that's needed tonight, as Mr. Mathers can elaborate upon, is the approval of the resolution to extend the moratorium, which relates back to the original ordinance that will be before you on September 16th.
So
Second reading.
so I have a question. Is the ordinance that is in front of us, that is printed in front of us, different from the ordinance that is in the agenda? I know that it was advertised, it has the same title, but what are the differences? Why is it different? Because no one has had an opportunity to read this versus what is in our, what is in the packet. I can look at it and tell that it's saying 2 different things right from the beginning.
I can answer that.
Sure.
So I think if you've got the same thing in front of me, it's a resolution, which is going to be able to be passed tonight on an emergency basis. My understanding, and I apologize, of course, I'm covering for your normal attorney, so I don't know every detail of this, is there was a misprint on the number with the ordinance, which means the ordinance is not ripe to be passed tonight. By mistaken circumstances that can't be repaired on the spot. However, Andrew drafted a resolution saying, as you pointed out, virtually the same thing, which the charter allows that we can pass on the spot. So
Right, so we would have to take a vote to introduce an emergency resolution. My only thing to you all is, and of course, I don't have a vote. This was provided to us when we sat down tonight. And I don't know about you, but I didn't read through any of this when I sat down. We do meet in another 2 weeks. I understand that time is of the essence with all of these things, but I do not think it is productive or proactive that we introduce this tonight and pass this as an emergency resolution.
It seems to me we did an emergency resolution in our last meeting concerning this. Or was that another emergency resolution?
You did the first reading of the actual ordinance.
The emergency resolution last
And
week
that will come back.
had to do with the grant or
It was,
what that Karen was
you're
working on.
absolutely right.
So I think the context of this is, or I suppose the argument in favor of passing, I can say what it would be, obviously. It's, I have to vote on whether it should be.
We understand that, but ultimately, no one has had an opportunity to read. I'm not gonna speak for anyone else. I haven't had an opportunity to read it. Of course, I don't have a vote. I do have a veto, but I haven't had an opportunity to read it.
Can I, may I have one detail for consideration?
Yeah.
The current moratorium will expire on Saturday, September 14th, 2024. And the ordinance, I believe your next opportunity to pass it will be September 16th. So the logic, if you choose to accept it, and I'm not trying to advocate one way or the other for any of you, would be to cover the 2-day gap in which there would be no moratorium, but the ordinance would not have been passed. So that's the context.
Or otherwise a special meeting prior to September 14th, just for the purpose of this resolution.
That's, yes, that's also an option, which would give time to read. But I do think the September 16th would result in a 48-hour gap where there is no regulation whatsoever.
I mean, I've glanced over it since I've sat down and I think it's pretty standard. I think there was just an error. I'm okay moving forward tonight so that we can do it before the due date. I understand the situation.
Yeah, I would like to do everything we can to prevent that 2-day gap. And it seems the differences in the two are just the ordinance number from what I've seen.
Are you gonna read this?
Yeah, if that's what you all decide, I will read it. I just want the record to reflect that there were changes made to it in our packet versus what was placed in front of us. It was two different things. An ordinance and a resolution are definitely two different things, but if that's you all's desire that we do an emergency reading and an emergency vote on it, I will do it because that is my duty as the mayor of this town. It doesn't matter how I personally feel.
There are no differences between what we were sent via email and this are.
Well, and the resolution, I think as Andrew drafted it in the whereas clauses, tries to explain those differences. It says, whereas ordinance 202502 would regulate cannabis business was introduced on August 19th, whereas public hearing for that ordinance will be on Monday, September 16th. Whereas the moratorium will expire on the 14th. So it's, you know, of course, obviously, this is all more familiar to lawyers in its construction, but it tries to explain itself within the resolution, saying this is the same regulation you're trying to pass via proper order and via ordinance, but is passed tonight via resolution to cover that 48-hour period where there would be a gap.
So then my last question was, why wasn't this provided to Ms. Stafford prior to our agenda packet going out? Because I got an email from Mr. Barkley that said there was a last call done to all departments on what was going into this agenda packet. My question is, where did this shift happen? Where did this change take place? Because again, you just sat something down in front of us in hopes that we were going to read it.
I received an email from Andrew probably 2-3 o'clock this afternoon. And it explained that. And I'm sorry, what was your name?
I'm sorry, Michael Mathers.
Michael, that he was gonna be here and explain it. And I said, that's about 2-3 o'clock this afternoon that I received it.
I make the motion that we go ahead, even though it was presented to us and we didn't have an opportunity to review it or do any research, that based on what it is, it's asking for the 48-hour extension. I make the motion that we go ahead and read this emergency resolution and vote on it.
I'll second that.
The motion is improperly moved and seconded. All those in favor, use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. Thank you. Okay. Wait a minute. y'all just voted on this. Is this an ordinance or a resolution?
This is a resolution tonight.
I would just make a recommendation that there is a special meeting. It was advertised as an ordinance. We're reading a resolution. Hot water is too hot. And contrary to popular belief and head shakes and all of that, we've been down this road too many times with people complaining on us about Open Meetings Act violations.
I retract my motion to, is that the proper way? I retract my motion to, read and vote on this resolution. And that, I make the motion that we schedule a special meeting to review this and properly advertise it.
As long as it's done before the 14th.
We can do it we can do it any day this week. It's just that, again, it was advertised that we're reading an ordinance, that we're talking about an ordinance, and in all reality, it's a resolution.
To be in compliance with open meetings. Thank you for catching that, ma'am.
A second.
Can we get a motion to, I don't even know, how do we even table this? It's not.
Well, I suppose you could say the
Is it-
emergency resolution was not introduced. So you would just
Right,
make some
table.
comment that the ordinance it can't be done today because as scheduled because of publication error.
Well, it is ordinance number 225. The cannabis is an ordinance, right?
They're trying to get us to pass the resolution.
Yeah, I get that part of it. The resolution is what was sat down in front of us tonight. That wasn't advertised at all on.
Right, that's what I was
on here.
saying.
But I don't think it's an issue for me because it was advertised as an ordinance. We're still just correcting what the ordinance is reading. I think we're making it harder than it really needs
They're
to
two
be.
different things. They're two different documents.
But you're saying we advertised an ordinance, but it's a resolution. The resolution is in addition to the ordinance. It wasn't advertised wrong.
We're not reading the ordinance at all.
Well, then if the resolution came in today, then what was the ordinance on the,
The ordinance.
We would have read the ordinance.
aren't we reading the ordinance in addition to the resolution?
The ordinance was supposed to be read today, but then it was discovered that there was an error in the advertising. So while the intention was to read it today, that couldn't happen because of the advertising error.
If there's an error in the advertising,
Your hands are tied on the ordinance to get its second reading until the next meeting.
Okay,
The
I got you.
resolution is able to be
Alright.
passed under emergency powers without the advertising.
issues error. yeah.
Legally, but then it can also be done at any special session. That is the council's.
We'll schedule that special session tonight before we leave. And we need to do a motion for item number 4 to remove it from the agenda.
I think that would be appropriate.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to remove item number 4 from the agenda.
I make a motion to remove item number 4 from the agenda.
I second that motion.
The motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye. Those that oppose, you have the same right. Thank you. So moved. Moving forward to item number 5, ordinance number 2025-01. Second reading and public hearing. An ordinance of the Pocomoke City amending chapter 37 of the Pocomoke City Code entitled Ethics by amending the provisions thereof for the purpose of incorporating amendments enacted by the Maryland General Assembly pursuant House Bill 363, Chapter 252, Act of 2021, and House Bill 1058, Chapter 425, Act of 2021. Whereas the ongoing application, administration, and enforcement of the Pocomoke City Municipal Code i.e. the Code of Pocomoke City, demonstrates a need for periodic reviews, evaluations, and amendments in order to comply with present community standards and values and to promote public safety, health, and welfare of the citizens of Pocomoke City, the city. Whereas the mayor and council of Pocomoke City, i.e. the mayor and council, are authorized by the MD Code, local government 5-202, as amended to adopt such ordinances not contrary to the Constitution of Maryland, public general law, and public local law. As the mayor and council deem necessary to assure the good government of the municipality, to preserve peace and order, to secure persons and property from damages and destruction, and to protect the health, comfort, and convenience of the citizens of the city. Whereas the mayor and council may amend chapter 37 of the Pocomoke City Code pursuant to the authority granted in C 24 of the Pocomoke City Charter. Whereas MD Code General Provisions 5-807 requires each municipal corporation to enact provisions equivalent to provisions applicable to state officials to govern the public ethics of the local officials relating to conflicts of interest, financial disclosure, and lobbying. Whereas the mayor and council find that amendments to chapter 37 ethics of the Pocomoke City Code are desirable to establish new ethics provisions governing officials and employees of the city in addition to those required by the Maryland Public Ethics Laws, see MD Code General Provisions 5-801 as amended, and to clarify certain terms set forth in chapter 37 for purposes of clarity and uniformity. Pursuant to 37-3E of the Pocomoke City Code, the mayor and council may amend chapter 37 subject to review and recommendations of the city's ethics commission with respect to any such amendment. Whereas in accordance with state law, the city, through the city attorney, provided a copy of the amendments to chapter 37 set forth in this ordinance to the Maryland State Ethics Commission for review. Whereas in accordance with state law, the city, through the city attorney, provided a copy of the amendment to chapter 37 set forth in this ordinance to the Maryland State Ethics Commission for review. Whereas on June the 6th, 2024, the Maryland State Ethics Commission notified the city attorney that the proposed amendments had been approved. Whereas the mayor and council have determined that the amendments to chapter 37 of the Pocomoke City Code set forth below shall be adopted and as set forth herein. Now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the Council of Pocomoke City that chapter 37 of the Pocomoke City Code is hereby amended by adding the highlighted language and deleting the strike-through languages as follow. (37-2), adding the words "and definition," adding applicability, adding definitions. In this chapter, the following terms have the meaning indicated: A, business entity commission, compensation. For the purpose of this chapter, if lobbying is only a portion of the person's employment, compensation meaning a prorated amount based on the time devoted to lobbying compared to the time devoted to other employment. D, designated second home means if an individual owns one second home, the individual's second home, or if the individual owns more than one second home, any one second home the individual identifies to the commission as the individual's designated second home. Doing business with: one, having or negotiating a contract that involves the commitment either in single or combination of transactions of $5,000 or more of Pocomoke City's controlled funds. Two, being regulated by otherwise subject to the authority of Pocomoke City. Or three, being registered as a lobbyist under section 7 of this chapter. F1, elected officials means anyone who holds an elected office in Pocomoke City. 2, elected officials do not include sheriff, state's attorney, register of wills, or clerk of the courts. G1, employee means an individual who is employed by Pocomoke City. Two, employee does not include an employee of the office of sheriff, state's attorney, register of wills, or clerk of the courts, the health department, or the county department of social services. H, financial interest, owners, one, ownership of any interest as a result of which the owner has received within the past 3 years or is presently receiving or in the future entitled to receive more than $1,000 per year. Or two, ownership or the ownership of securities of any kind representing convertible into ownership or more than 3-year percentage of more than 3% of a business entity by Pocomoke City officials or employees or the spouse of an official or an employee. I, number one, gifts means the transfer of anything of economic value regardless of the form without adequate and lawful consideration. Two, gifts do not include contributions as defined in election law articles, annotated Code of Maryland. J, home address means the address of which individual's one principal home and two, designated second home if any. K, immediate family means a spouse and dependent children. I, interest means legal or equitable economic interest, whether or not subject to encumbrance or a condition. This is owned or held in whole or in part, jointly or severally, directed or indirectly. Two, the purpose of SS5 and SS6 of this chapter. Interests include any interest held at any time during the reporting period. Three, interests do not include an interest held in the capacity of personal agent, custodian, filibustry, personal representative, or trustee unless the holder has an equitable interest in the subject matter. Two, an interest in time or demand deposit in a financial institution. Three, an interest in an insurance policy, endowment policy, or annuity contract under which the insurer promises to pay a fixed amount of money either in a lump sum or periodically for life or a specific period. Four, a common trust fund or trust, which forms a part of a pension or profit sharing plan, which has more than 25 participants and which has been determined by the Internal Revenue Service to be a qualified trust under the Internal Revenue Code. Five, a college savings plan under the Internal Revenue Code. Or six, a mutual fund or exchange traded fund that is publicly traded on a national scale unless the mutual fund or exchange trade fund is composed primarily of holding of stocks and interests in a specific sector or area that is regulated by the individual governmental unit. M, lobbyist means a person required to register and report expenses related to lobbying under 7 of this chapter. And lobbyist means communicating in the presence of city officials or employees with the intent to influence any official action that official or employee or two engaging in activity with the express purpose of soliciting other communication with Pocomoke City officials or employees with the intent to influence that official or employee. O, official means any elected official, an employee of Pocomoke City, or a person appointed to or employed by the city or any city agency, board, commission, or similar entity. One, whether or not paid in whole or in part with the city funds, and two, whether or not compensated. P, person includes an individual or business entity. Q, principal home means the sole residence property that an individual occupies as the individual's primary residence, whether owned or rented by the individual. R, qualified relative means a spouse, parent, child, brother, or sister. S, quasi-governmental entity means an entity that is created by the state statute that performs a public function and that is supported in whole or in part by the state. But is managed privately. T, second home means a residential property that one, an individual occupies for some portion of the filing year, and two, is not a rental property or a timeshare. The Ethics Commission, one, we removed 3 members and we added 5 members. Appointed by the mayor with a majority approval of the council. 2, the commission members shall serve a 2-year term. A commission member may serve unlimited consecutive terms. 3, a commission member may serve until a successor is appointed and qualified. 4, the commission shall elect a chairperson from among its members. The term of the chairperson is 1 year and the chairperson may be reelected. Indeed, we got rid of the Title 15 and Title 5. The same thing in E. 5, a former regulated lobbyist who is or becomes subject to this chapter as an employee or official other than an elected official or appointed official may not participate in a case, contract, or any other specific matter as an employee or official other than an elected official or appointed official for 1 calendar year after determination of the registration of the former regulated lobbyist and the former regulated lobbyist previously assisted or represented another party for compensation in a matter. 2, a former elected official may not assist or represent any party for compensation in a matter that is subject of legislative action for 1 calendar year after the elected official leaves office. There were some things that were struck out in G and added. 1, an official or employee may not intentionally use prestige or public office positions, A, for private gain of the official or employee or the private gain of another, or B, to influence except as a part of official duties or official or employee, or as usual and customary constituent services without additional compensation, the award of the state or local contract to a specific person. 2, an official may not directly or indirectly initiate a solicitation from a person to retain the compensated services of a particular regulated lobbyist or lobbying firm. 3, the subsection does not prohibit the performance of usual and customary constituent services by an elected official without additional compensation. 4, an official other than an elected official or employee may not use public resources or the title of official or employee to solicit a contribution as that term is defined in the election law article. And 5, an employee may not use public resources to solicit a contribution as that is defined in the election law article. There was something added in E. E is an association or an entity acting on behalf of an association that is engaged only in representing counties or municipal corporations. Jumping down to number 5I, we just justified former elected official, employee, or former employee. Everything was just listed out as it was read above. And then K, an official or employee may not retaliate against an individual for reporting or participating in an investigation of a potential violation of the local ethics law and ordinance. Oh, there is something else added. 4, if a statement required by a candidate is overdue and not filed within 8 days after written notice of failure to file in the provided by the city clerk or board of election supervisors, the candidate is deemed to have to withdraw from their candidacy. Number 5, for statements filed after January 1st, 2019, the commission or the office designated by the commission may not provide public access to individual's home address that the individual has designated as the individual's home address. Number 6, the commission or office designated by the commission shall not provide public access to information related to considerations received from the University of Maryland Medical System, a government entity or state or local law in the state, or a quasi-governmental entity of the state or local government in the state. F, retention requirements. The commission or office designated by the commission shall retain financial disclosure statements for 4 years from the date in which it was received. G, an individual who is required to disclose the name of a business under the section shall disclose any other names that the business is trading as or doing business as. We also had a section added under gifts. regulated by the city or from an association or any acting entity acting on behalf of the association that is engaged only in representing counties or municipal entities. And then we also have a section that was added about the relationship with the University of Maryland medical system, state or local government or quasi-governmental entity. An individual shall disclose the information specified in the general powers provision, annotated code of Maryland, for any financial or contractual relationship with the University of Maryland Medical System, a governmental entity of the state or local government in the state, C, a quasi-governmental entity of the state or local government in the state. And number two, for each financial or contractual relationship reported, this schedule shall include a description of the relationship, the subject matter of the relationship, and the consideration. Mr. Barkley, if you want to jump in and read it, would be heavily desired.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, number 10 is replaced. The H's are replaced in 1, 2, and 3.
I left off on page 19.
And number 2 is stricken on page 20. The new number 2, anything held at any time during the applicable period by a business entity in which the individual held a 10% or greater interest. Number 3, a business entity described in item I of this subsection in which business entity held a 25% or greater interest. Number 4, a business entity described in item 2 of this subsection in which the business entity held a 50% or greater interest. And number 5, an interest held at any time during the applicable period, a business entity in which the individual directly or indirectly through an interest in one or a combination of other business entities holds a 10% or greater interest. Number 6 is replaced, J is replaced, K is replaced on page 20, page 21. After B, C is stricken and a new C is added on or before April 30th of each year during which an official or employee holds office. An official or employee shall file a statement disclosing gifts received during the preceding calendar year from any person that contracts with or is regulated by Pocomoke City, including the name of a business entity in which the individual directly or indirectly through an interest in one or a combination of other business entities holds a 10% or greater interest, donor of the gift, and the approximate retail value at the time for receipt. Item E, an individual who is required to disclose the name of a business under this section shall disclose any other names that the business is trading as or doing business as. F, relationship with University of Maryland Medical System, state or local government, quasi-governmental entity. F1, an individual shall disclose the information specified in general provisions, Article 5-607J1, annotated code of Maryland for any financial or contractual relationship with the University of Maryland. Sorry, that was one. To a governmental entity of the state or local government in the state, or 3, a quasi-governmental entity of the state or local government of the state. Number 2, for each financial or contractual relationship reported, the schedule assignment shall include 1, a description of the relationship, 2, subject matter of the relationship, 3, the consideration. G, the commission shall maintain all disclosure statements filed under this section as public records available for public inspection, copy as provided in 5, C, and D of this chapter. Letter E is stricken. 37-7 as lobbying. 37-7A, a person shall file a lobbying registration if the person, number 1, personally appears before the city employee with the intent to influence that person's performance of the official duties of the official or employee, and 2, in connection with the intent to influence, expend, or reasonably expects to expend a given calendar year in excess of $50 on food, entertainment, other gifts for officials or employees of Pocomoke City. B, the person shall file a registration statement required under this section on or before the later of January 15th calendar year or within 5 days after first employment. Act that requires registration in the calendar year. C, 1, the registration statement shall identify 1, the registrant, 2, any other person on whose behalf the registrant acts, and 3, the subject matter on which the registrant proposes to make appearances specified in subsection A of this section. Page 23, number 2, the registration statement shall cover the time registration period not to exceed 1 calendar year. D, within 30 days after the end of any calendar year during which a person is registered under this section, the person shall file a report with the commission disclosing D1, value, date, nature of food, entertainment, other gifts provided to a county, city, or town official or employee, and 2, if a gift or series of gifts to a single official or employee exceeds $50 in value, the identity of the official or employee. E, the commission shall maintain registration of reports filed under this section as public records available for public inspection and copying for 4 years after receipt by the commission. A2, 37-9 enforcement, A1, the commission may assess a late fee, $25 a day stricken to a maximum of $250. 2 is added, assess a late fee of $10 per day up to a maximum of $1,000 for failure to file a time lobbyist registration or lobbyist report required under 7 of this, chapter 7 of this section, and 3 is added, 1 is added, 1-1 is added, reform, 1-2 is added, 1-3 is added, and number 2, if the commission finds that a respondent has violated chapter 7 of this chapter, the commission may 2-1 require a respondent who is a registered lobbyist to file any additional reports or information that reasonably relates to the information that is required under chapter 7 of this chapter. 2, impose a fine not exceeding $5,000 for each violation, and 3, suspend the registration of a registered lobbyist if the commission finds that the lobbyist has knowingly and willfully violated section 7 of this chapter or has been convicted of a criminal offense arising from lobbying activities. And drum roll, please, is the last page. We're adding item F. Violation of section 7 of this chapter shall be distributed subject to a fine of up to $10,000 or imprisonment for up to 1 year.
Thank you, Mr. Barkley.
Would you read that again, Mr. Barkley? I didn't know.
Listen, I got us to page 19 and I could do it no more.
Well, it's a lot.
We're now going to enter into our public hearing. Please come forward, state your name and your address. And you can only speak on the ordinance that is on the table, if you have any comments. Thank you. Council, is there any discussion? I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-0-1.
A second.
The motion has properly moved and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved, thank you. Let's just hope the state doesn't go back and decide.
It's a lot. Well,
And just for everyone's pleasure, this is not the first time that we did it. The same thing that we read tonight was submitted to them back in 2021, and they came back and they did not approve it. They sent us an email and said we had to do it again. We did not add anything new to this, and it was approved this time. Moving forward to item number 6, Worcester County Developmental Center auction donation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council people. How are you?
And how are you?
Hi.
My name is Stephanie. I'm the Executive Director at Worcester County Developmental Center, or WCDC, as I'm going to refer to it here on out, so I don't have to say that long title, and you don't think I'm talking about the prison now. So, we are having a quarter auction on September the 17th, which is a Tuesday night, so that is the correct date, I promise. It's a Tuesday. I don't know if any of you have had any experience dealing with WCDC before, but I thought I'd give you a brief general overview and then talk about our fundraising event. WCDC provides services to adults with developmental disabilities. We serve, our last census was 104 individuals. We provide them with residential services throughout Worcester County, along with day hab, employment, transportation, nursing services, and a variety of other services as well. Our residential homes are located in Ocean Pines, Berlin, Newark, Snow Hill, and as of last week, Pocomoke. So we have moved into your city and we are so excited to be here. And on September the 17th, our clients are hoping to raise around $10,000 to purchase some iPads to assist them with attending doctor's appointments. And they do attend most of their doctors here in Worcester County, but some of them do have to move into Wycomico and some of them over to Baltimore as well. But the majority we try to keep close to home. These iPads will travel with the individuals to their medical appointments, day program activities, and things like that to assist us with submitting live documentation to Medicaid, which is who funds their services. As you can imagine, iPads are not cheap, as well as we have to have mobile service to those iPads. So we are holding a quarter auction. A lot of people are not familiar with quarter auctions, but I'm hoping that somebody is because it's a long explanation. But to keep it short, we are looking for donations of items and monetary gifts to auction off items for quarters on the evening of the 17th of September. What will happen is local businesses and individuals are donating new items. So anything from gift cards to items from their stores and shops, and those items are then assigned a quarter value. People will then be asked to bid on these items with actual quarters, and whether or not you win the item, we still collect all the quarters that were bid on the item. So that's a very high level overview of it. There are other nuances and tinier rules, but that's basically what we're doing. So we are looking for donation items from local businesses and individuals. We ask that the items be new and that we know what the value of the item is so that then we can assign a quarter value to that item. We are also accepting monetary donations for the cause of any amount. Actually, just about 40 minutes ago or before this meeting, we got a $25 gift card from Dockside, and that's the perfect donation. So we know the value, where it's from, and it's from a local business. So we are trying to get as many local businesses to donate as possible. So I will take your questions and do my best to answer them. Yeah.
Now you're coming before us this evening. Have you also gone before the Chamber of Commerce or the Downtown Pocomoke Association?
I
so
have.
that you get in front of the actual businesses?
I have not, but I would love to. We are members of the Worcester County Chamber of Commerce, and I did send the information to Carrie, who's the president over there. But other than that, no, I have not spoken to anyone else. We've been going business to business, individually door knocking so far.
I don't know whether it's possible, but I would also suggest that you get in touch with Mr. Barkley.
Okay.
And as soon as possible, something be posted. It seems the city does everything, and the people in town on Facebook.
So do we, so that's great.
And it can be put on, you talk to Mr. Barkley, our city manager, and potentially
Okay.
be put on the city's Facebook page so that people know, and it's got contact information where they can provide and who they can provide donations to.
Perfect.
Everything like that.
Okay, thank you. Any other
I think
questions?
what she's asking for, well, does anybody have,
I-
you got a question?
No, but just see me before you leave.
Okay,
Okay, she's asking for us to give them a monetary donation for the quarter auction. Number one, what is the amount that you all wanted, if you want to do one, if you want to do one, and number two, what is the amount that you all would want to do?
How much is an iPad?
That's the wrong one.
Brooke?
I don't know.
So the quote that we got from our service provider, which is Verizon Wireless, was $5.99 with our service plan.
Right.
So $600.
Okay. Then make a motion.
I make a motion, we donate $600 toward an iPad to the Worcester County Developmental Center, because
So
you
much.
guys do wonderful work.
Thank you very much.
Is there a second?
I second.
The motion has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye. Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
When do you go to Snow Hill?
When do I, what?
When do you go to the Snow Hill Town Council?
ASAP.
When do you go to Berlin?
ASAP.
When you go to Ocean City?
ASAP.
And when you go in front of the Ocean Pines Board?
I'm at Ocean Pines way too much.
I might add to what Mayor Knock is saying. We issue a challenge to all those cities to
Absolutely.
match what we've.
You
done.
tell them what we did.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I'll brag on you. I'll even put your names on the back of the iPad. Be like, look what they did.
We issue that challenge to other cities, and you're gonna be the horse that's gonna carry that news.
Not a problem.
Tell Mayor Pruitt, Mayor Tindall,
Black Dog,
and, God, he's gonna kill me. The mayor of Ocean City, I can't think of his name right now. You tell them all what we did.
Sure
And
will.
tell them, put their money where their mouth is.
Okay. Certainly will.
Especially Ocean City and Berlin.
Okay. I sure will.
Tell them to use some of that casino impact money that we still trying to get.
Okay. I also invite you all to come out and play on the 17th. It'll be a good time. So thank you all so very much. Do you have any more questions for
you.
me?
no, but see me before you leave.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving forward to item number 7, approval of the one-day special alcohol permit A for the American Legion. Is anybody here from the American Legion? I'll entertain a motion if there is one. I'm sorry? I said I would I would entertain a motion if there is one to approve their alcohol permit.
I make a motion to approve the American Legion's alcohol permit.
Second.
It has been motioned and properly seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, you have the same right.
Nay.
I got something to say.
I abstain.
And
If they're not planning, and this is for anybody, and I said this before, if they are not planning to be here to answer questions in regards, and I know he came the last.
He was about to say, he was here last week.
Right, but here's the thing, right? I wasn't here, so I didn't get my chance to ask him any questions, and it's not about me, it's about anybody. Miss Diane wasn't here, so she doesn't have an opportunity to ask questions. Alcohol permits, hunting permits, if they're not here, my personal belief is, unless these questions have been answered and we know for a fact that this is what's going to happen, they don't even need to be on our agenda. That's just my belief. Y'all know I've said it before, when I had a vote in regards to it, if they did not show up, I wouldn't care if it was for church.
I agree. Last time I voted against it because, Mr. Giddens didn't show up, but he did come last week. And this one did provide a time. And, I also spoke with Chief Hancock today and just asked how things have been going, and they haven't had any issues out there lately. So with all that in mind, I didn't have a problem passing it.
I do believe that on the Father's Day, at police call.
I'm just going off what I was.
What'd you say?
I,
Now, I will say this, it was also brought to my attention that there was some miscommunication and misunderstanding concerning what he actually wanted. This is already a business. They're not applying for a special use permit of city facilities. They just need an extension on their liquor license for a day. So what he was asked to, what he thought and what others thought that he had to provide, he did not have to provide that. Now, if there's something we want to enact, it's not in stone yet. If it's something we want to do, we can take that to a work session, but as of now, he doesn't have to get a special event permit. Okay. Moving on to the Marvin Theater.
How we doing?
Hey, how are you?
So,
Good. Did you get all the information, Freddie?
Mark, I don't have your permit. The permit.
They do it differently now. It's all done online. You guys fill out a letter stating that you approved it. I copied that into the online form and submitted to them.
Ms. Dash?
I have the two, that Mr. Mark. Yeah, that's our training information for it, but for the actual permit, they just changed it. It's all done online through the website. I fill out all my information on the website, and there's a place for me to attach my pictures, and a place for me to attach the letter that you guys approved the liquor permit for that day. As compared to that.
In the last meeting that I was in, I asked someone to communicate with the Worcester County Liquor Board because this is a lot of changes. It's a lot of changes for the citizens and it's a lot of changes for us. And I'm getting very confused. Because in one breath, we've got Giddens with the permit. And we've got Mark saying, hey, they just changed it. So I don't remember who I asked to get in contact with them and figure out what was going on because, you know, we still have the situation with the community center as well. Mr. Barkley, was it you?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I talked with April Payne for quite some time about the process and first of all, how we can better manage the process on behalf of our organizations around town. But second of all, what kind of official gesture the city has to make? Are we still signing stuff on a form? Is it all online now? Well, it's online now to the extent that Mark just mentioned. And if they get a statement from the city council and or the mayor that this is approved, that's all they need, even if it's an email. They just need some indication of the city council approving the application.
I think this is gonna open up a big can of worms, so I'm gonna just request that I'm putting my foot in my mouth. We create a form that looks just like their old form. And we still need details on their events, and it can just be used internally. It doesn't have to be sent off outside. The letter situation, sending a letter is fine, but we need to create a form. If council, if you're not opposed to a form being created versus somebody just coming and saying, hey, I want to have an event, and they just go over specifics. That way we can always have Mr. Barkley go into a binder, more especially for our police departments. And just can we?
No, I agree.
Could we be copied on the county's online filing?
I can print it out when I finish it.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, we're trying to become more digitalized here with some of the things that we're doing and become paperless. And this process is already being done for the county. You know, how can we access that information from the county?
Well, we probably won't be able to access it. However, once they get Tyler Technologies up and running here, our forms will be able to be in the same manner.
I agree with having some detail on it, but I don't like having repetition, you know, same thing over and over.
Go ahead, Mark, I'm sorry.
As for your forms, Kara keeps an extra copy in her office, the old forms. I also have 20 copies of old forms. If you guys want to see those old forms to make your notes, I have them for you. But we're looking to run Rocky Horror Show. We didn't do it last year because of funding. They increased the price of the Rocky Horror Show. We're looking to do it again this year. I have a full sponsor from Private Tattoo out in Salisbury. She's going to pay for everything for us. We'll keep the alcohol simple. It's going to be beer, wine, and orange crushes. The beer will be from Cypress Roots. Wine will be from my last event. We will do wristbands because there will be 18 to 21 there. I am chip certified, and then the girl who bartending with me is Robin. She used to run liquor store, so she's very adaptive as well.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
The motion has been properly made and seconded. All those in favor use the sound aye. Those that oppose, you have the same right. So moved, thank you. Moving forward to item number 8, comments from the city council. Councilwoman Cotton,
I don't have any comments.
you said none?
No.
Okay, Councilwoman Downey.
No.
Councilwoman Marsh.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here this evening, Mayor. I don't know how I would have handled what transpired with the resolution for the 48 hours and then the ordinance for the cameras. So I'm very thankful for you.
Councilman Marshall.
First off, I'd like to commend Ms. Marsh for a job well done last week. She ran a good meeting, and welcome back, Ms. Downing. We're glad to have you back.
Just wanted to say, I hope everybody had a good first day at school in Pocomoke. And just remember, buses will be back on the roads, so just be aware in the mornings and afternoons, and remember, a few minutes spare for safety is okay, so. I hope second day is usually rougher than the first day, so hopefully tomorrow is not too bad.
Thank you. Moving forward, comments from the mayor. Let me start off by saying it's great to be back in the chambers. I personally feel like I wasn't here all summer. I was in and out, like Maya Angelou said, in and out of time, but we're here. And it's time to get back to work. We've got a lot of things to wrap up before the end of the year. Did stop past our new public works office and visit Mike and Lacey so I could get the grand tour. If you all haven't done that, please feel free to stop out there. And speaking to Mike today, I did put in a phone call to him concerning a part of the policy and procedure for our rental license agreements. Last week, Lacey told all of us in her introduction email that right now we were at about $7,000 worth of properties have been registered. Mike told me today that $8,000, we are now at $8,000, and the landlords are realizing that this is not just protection for the tenant, but it's also protection for the landlords. And it seems that everyone is getting on board. I really got to do a shout out to Carrie Ann Foster and Kelly. From what Mike told me, they have really been on the stick in getting their properties registered. Inspections start next week. So if you have not registered, make sure you put this in the minutes. If you have not registered your property after those inspections are completed, you're going to get a knock on your door. And we don't want any knocks, no knocks. So hopefully everyone will get their properties registered. I want to commend everyone that had a hand in that. I feel like it was some of the best legislation we've ever worked on. Definitely a big shout out to Councilwoman Trost as well, who was right there with us through it, and more especially happy that Brooke and CL are here now with us too, to wave the banner for rental registrations. I don't know if people understand that we were one of the last. We were one of the last, and if we want to see our town turn around, we've got to make some hard decisions. And we've got to make some unpopular decisions. If we want to see our buildings fixed up, we've got to make some unpopular decisions. But with this council, I just want to remind you all that we came up with a plan to fix the roads and the sidewalks. And we also came up with a plan to tackle these dilapidated buildings. If we don't do anything else, which I know that we will, we've done more than a lot of the groups that preceded us. I'm honored to serve with y'all. I'm glad to serve with y'all. I wanted to say something about policy and procedure here in City Hall. I feel like it's improving a little bit, but there are still some things that really need to be worked out. I've been saying this for a couple years now, that City Hall needs to take one Friday or one Wednesday, it doesn't matter, but you all really need to do an in-service day. There's a lot of things that you all need to get situated. We have a lot of grants on the table. Our grants can be audited. We need to make sure that the paperwork like that is in order. So you don't have to run back to us and ask us to go over something again, because we've had to do that before. Go over something again and get the counseling and make a motion, and Miss Diane is on prayer. Scott's hanging out with his kids doing soccer. CL's on the boat. Brooke's doing her thing. Monda's doing her thing, and I'm traveling somewhere. You don't want that again. So I'm just asking that we start to think forward, think about the things that are gonna come down the pipe. I'm excited about being here. I'm excited about working with you. I want to let you all know that I will have my appointments into you all by the next meeting for the Ethics Commission. It is a good feeling when you see some of your labor, come to fruition. And more especially, that was from all the way back in 2021, when we were constantly meeting and we were trying to catch up with everybody else. We might not be where we want to be, but we're darn sure further than where we used to be, and it's an honor to work with all of you. That's all for me tonight.
Todd, I forgot two things. One, Mr. Barkley, a resident told me there's a sign for Linden Drive that says Linden Ave on one end. I think it's on 15th and Linden. Oh, it's supposed to say Linden Drive and it says Linden Ave. And the second thing was it's not on the agenda, but we had an email in the packet about a Holly Jolly Run.
Yeah, I
And
saw that.
I didn't know if we were
just-
supposed to do that now or what. I just want to mention it because it was there.
That's with y'all too?
Okay, sweet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can, it's not on the agenda. We can wait to the comments, I guess. I don't care however you want to do it.
Yeah, can we talk during public comment? Thank you. Just give us a minute.
1 minute.
Just, a sec. Hey, I'm not telling you, you gotta sit down.
Okay. 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 I can't wait here about that.
That's funny.
And I also wanted to say, don't forget to turn in your streets and your sidewalks.
Yeah, I did mine.
Mr. Barkley drafted a letter for us and sent it off to the county, so it should be on their next agenda, so y'all make sure y'all are watching, for us to receive all of those grant funds.
I have a question
Yes, ma'am.
regarding the rental licenses. The revenue is 8,000. Is there any indication whatsoever the number of licenses that have been issued or registrations?
Councilwoman, he told me, and that was the one thing in the conversation that I did not retain. But he told me that our heavy hitters are the people that are proactive. The people that are managing multiple properties are the people that are proactive. Understand this, and I'm not saying that the council is going to lower your property taxes, but if the people that are doing the rentals would really change the status of their rentals and register for this program, it's a possibility that property taxes in this city could decrease. I'm not saying it's going to, and it may take us a while to get there. So if you know somebody that needs to register their rental, please have them do it.
Thank you.
Comments from the city manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Just very quickly, the RFP for the streets and sidewalk project is completed. Will be out by the end of this week on the street, along with a bid form and a request for qualifications. We had a little hiccup trying to nail down the square footage and the square yardage of sidewalks and streets to be repaired during this project. And we wanted to make it as efficient as possible when we do actually award the contract, so the contractor can mobilize once and then go to another project and mobilize once, instead of coming back and forth and mobilizing and going here and there. So without knowing the details of the actual projects yet, we do have some feedback from council members, and thank you all who have provided that. Please continue to provide us with feedback, and we will have a pre-bid meeting sometime in mid to late September. And by the time we get to that meeting, which I would say would probably be the last week in September, we'd like to have your ideas if you have sections of your districts that really need improvement. And a lot of it will to be seen. It'll be, whether they're going down to the subgrade, whether they're just going to mill it and replace it, sidewalks cracked, need full replacement, concrete, asphalt, the season for those things kind of things are all at play here. But we have a really solid RFP ready to go out this week. So the word will be out and we'll amend the mayor's schedule that he had on his safe, streets and paths, and, sorry, the initiative schedule. What, I forget what it's called. Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Safe Streets, Safe Paths Initiative. Yes, we will update the schedule and put that online. So thank you, Mr. Mayor and council.
Council, do you mind if I go back into my comments real quick? I got two things for you. I wanted everybody to know, that tentatively our Arts Commission will be meeting here in council chambers on September the 12th. Here in council chambers. Now, what I'm going to say, and if y'all don't like it, get me after the meeting. But personally, I'm not in favor of ununiformed murals going up on the side of these buildings. And I believe that our Arts Commission and our Planning and Zoning Commission really need to get together, and they need to come up with some standards for these murals. They are great to see. And I've traveled other places and I've seen some amazing ones. But the ununiformity of these murals could possibly and potentially become a problem. And I feel like we need to handle it sooner than later. Amen. That's all for me. We are now moving forward to item D, comments from the audience. We're gonna let you go first. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Good evening. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Colette Outen. I live at 1744 Buck Harbor Road in Pocomoke. And I am a representative of Algonquin Ultras, which is a local nonprofit running organization. And I would like to hold a very small 5K here in Pocomoke City on the evening of Saturday, December 21st. Just about 50 people on the registration, just so they can mainly run up and down on Market Street to look at the Christmas lights. I did speak with Chief Hancock about this. He did approve it. And I actually did a trial run of this last year, very informal run. And it went really well. People traveled down from Salisbury and the other area, and they loved running in downtown, and they really liked keeping it small, just about 50 people. So I would like to use the pavilion downtown across from Dockside, just to have some food, some hot chocolate afterwards, and have them start there. And I did include a map.
We just got the email. I didn't see the map.
Okay, I have 2 copies here.
Well, I think that this is a great idea.
Thank you.
More especially because I'm aiming to have the mayor's old fashioned downtown Christmas the night before.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So I think it's gonna be amazing. So the tree will be lit by the time, yes, by
Nice.
the time you do your run.
Perfect. So can you make that out without the street names?
That would pretty much.
So
Yeah.
we don't,
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
own Market Street,
Yes.
right? So we could do a letter of support to you, to the state, if it was something that if you were trying to close the street, or were you just
No,
letting us know
no.
that this is what
I
you're
just
doing?
wanted to let you all, basically I'm here because Chief Hancock said to talk to the city manager. I called the city clerk. She said to come by and get an event packet, and Mark was nice enough to come by and help me out, and told I need to come here.
Excited, I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
running?
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, Sia. Me and you are 1-2 finish.
No,
Yeah.
I got it every time. I wish I did.
Yeah, there's gonna be minimal impact on the roads. I don't need to close anything. It's gonna be 4:30 in the evening. So obviously they can see the lights. We told everybody last year to make sure they wore reflective gear. We had a cyclist out there kind of leading and following, making sure everybody was good. Just kept it really simple on some side roads and mainly just down Market Street and back. And then we just need to use the pavilion basically and block off part of the parking lot so runners can safely come and go.
Is your registration still open?
I have not opened it yet. I've been waiting
Okay.
for your approval.
Okay,
So once you guys give me the okay, I will go ahead and open registration and I can get you that link.
so of course we want her to do an event packet, but preliminarily, I think I can speak for everybody and say it's a great idea.
I'll go ahead and I can get registration open and then I'll fill out that event.
thank you for doing it here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for
So what are you
your
gonna do
support.
next?
What am I doing next?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We want a turkey run too, so
Turkey
next
trot.
year.
Okay,
wanna
okay,
turkey-
we'll have to compete with the one in Pemberton Park though.
When
We
I-
don't,
when-
listen, Salisbury's a different, we
It's-
don't
it's-
compete with them. We don't.
My
compete
husband will
with-
never go to Salisbury. He's like.
What night is the 5K in Ocean City?
The
Thursday.
Winter Festive Lights?
Yeah.
They usually do that on a Sunday evening.
Okay.
Earlier in December.
Earlier in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, usually what we found, like I said, I did this as a very small, kind of informal event last year, and I did speak with Chief Hancock, and he approved it. We actually did this because we had a lady in our running community who accepted the challenge of running a race every week for 52 weeks. And I was talking to her in early December, and I was like, well, what are you doing? And turns out the last weekend
She couldn't
in the
find
year,
one?
she couldn't find one, and I was like, all right, well, we'll make you a race, and so
Yeah.
I called Chief Hancock, and we did it kind of as a test run also to see, and everybody loved it, everybody enjoyed coming to town, and I know everybody does a great job in town for the parade to light everything up, so I wanted to showcase it, so.
Sweet, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the audience?
Yeah, mine's just one question. I know I probably should have done the report your concern email, but since the water, maintenance that's being done looks to be moving right along nicely. The areas where it has the liner, whatever is the hosing that's been along some of the roads has been moved. And understandably, the weeds that normally are taken care of, we now have trees.
Hmm.
So if we can kind of get back on that type of schedule, the one that's really bad with the trees that are coming up in the curb line is 8th Street on the west side of Market. That's going pretty bad. Market Street, you know, you still got stuff going on, but I guess it's sort of like play catch up. That was it. Thanks.
Are there any other comments?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Betty Walston Sawyer. Born and raised in this beautiful city. And I'm here tonight, and I'm not sure if it's appropriate to bring it up, but I've been in correspondence with Mr. Wyatt, and most recently, an email from our city manager. Our organization, I'm from Utah now, and our nonprofit Project Success Coalition are the recipients or soon to be recipients of that wonderful sewing factory facility that you've all been working on for years. With that, we were in the process of getting the deed transferred to our nonprofit and found out that there was a lien